This week on Xenomania, join us for a trip to Chicago and Cabrini-Green for an urban legend so horrific, just the name should scare you. We have bees, a real life connection, and lots of Tony Todd love. And it isn't possible that one of my co hosts slashes another classic. Is it? Is it? Ryan? Kearns? Anyway, say his name 5 times and he appears. We believe in Candyman. This is Xenomania.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
You know what grinds my gears is the fact that we have to keep doing remakes of beloved classics. Zack Snyder and Escape from New York. What are we doing here? Why are you touching a cult classic? Listen, I mean, I'm John Carpenter fan, love John Carpenter. Like, there's no reason to remake this film. There's no reason to have a sequel. There's like, and I know Escape from LA is John Carpenter, but like, no reason to have a sequel. There's no reason for a remake.
There's no reason for a remake.
What are you going to change? What are you going to make different?
Listen, you could make it look better, perhaps.
Watch Lockout, then.
You're never going to recreate the cast. You're never going to recreate the magic of the cast.
Real quick, have you seen Lockout with Guy Pearce?
Yes.
You have. John, have you seen it? Basically, it's Escape from New York in space, on a space station.
Yeah.
Luke Besson already done it.
Ryan is fired up this week, everybody.
Oh, they should not remake Escape from New York.
Hide your women and your Schneiders.
Yeah, Snyder cut my ass.
Zack Snyder is going to ruin every movie I love eventually. I mean, he already...
Dawn of the Dead.
The Dawn remake is a travesty to the name of Dawn of the Dead.
But like we mentioned earlier with Halloween 3, it's a good movie. It's just not Dawn of the Dead.
But it's like, okay, if you really look at it, he's created 2 good quality like originals, which is Army of the Dead and Army of Thieves. His like adaptation of 300 is excellent. His adaptation of Watchmen is a good adaptation for the theatrical run. I will say that, comparing it to the graphic novel. Man of Steel is a good film. I'll give you that.
Man of Steel is
but everything, unless you are a DC fanatic with Zack Snyder related, then you're fine. Other than that, he tried killing it.
I hated every moment of those DC movies. Every moment.
The Superman ones were okay, particularly Man of Steel. But the Justice League, everything they did with the Justice League stuff was horrible. Well, you're not a huge comic book movie guy anyway.
No.
I would expect him to like Watchmen though.
Nope.
Because I think that's a
pretty... Watchmen. I actually didn't like Watchmen much either. I thought they could have done a much better job.
I haven't watched 300 in a really long time. I bet it doesn't hold up quite as well as you would think.
Well, at the time, it was the special effects that really knocked it off.
Yeah.
Like seeing it in a theater, and it's like, you know, he kicks him into the well, and it's like the imagery and the build up and the idea of the 300 Spartans, the history behind it. Yeah, it's like, it's awesome, but like, that's like our nostalgia. For kids today, they're like, oh, let's throw in this old 2000 movie.
We were watching that back when we were crushing cases of Keystone Lights and stuff. Like, that was that era when we were like, whoa, man, it was good. You know what? I know everything about the Battle of Thermopylae, bro. You don't even understand what they did to those Persians. That's the way we watched that movie. Those are CGI abs.
That's
Gerard
basically
Butler didn't do a single sit-up.
That was every single sit-up, sir. But that's how you got to watch every Zack Snyder film.
Get after it for Keystone Light.
Yeah.
You have to go to a very specific spot in the country to get that.
But there are very few beers that are more appropriate for a director than Keystone Light and Zack Snyder.
That's a perfect comparison, actually. I love it.
It's still a beer. They're still movies.
And we should do an episode where we match.
You could definitely do better.
Movies. We should
I'm
make
all
a
for
list of
it.
movies and match beers to them. I can't wait to figure out like what Milwaukee's best is. Pabst Blue Ribbon. We already plugged Pabst Blue Ribbon once. We're gonna do it again, baby.
Well,
I mean,
Pabst Blue Ribbon probably has to be something like Hereditary
I don't
or
know. I
the
hated
Babadook or
Hereditary.
something that's trendy because PBR
okay.
kind of got that hipstery, trendy thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did.
they rode that lightning all the way to the bank. Went to a place in Red Hook, Brooklyn, where they're $1, but you have to go to Red Hook, Brooklyn, where the trains don't go.
Yeah.
You
Find
keep
your
paying
way
for the
out.
gas. It's okay.
You gotta walk, pretty much. You gotta walk from
No,
the
that's
decent parts of Brooklyn to Red Hook.
Mileage wise, Brooklyn is what, less than 50 miles away? Travel time, it's like 12 hours.
Yeah, it takes forever to get there. You can go down the West Side Highway and hit the Battery, and that's probably your best way in. And just saying that out loud is like, that's the best way in. Yeah.
do you consider worse to travel to Queens compared to
Yeah, I
Brooklyn?
find it
Queens is a lot
easier.
easier. Queens
Just
is
Really?
getting
just,
I
over
don't
the
like
2
Queens.
bridges, yeah.
No, I like Queens. I don't like traveling to Queens.
I don't
Sorry,
like
I'm
any of it.
sorry.
I don't like traveling to any of those places, man.
Now, I've been to the city in forever because of that.
There are too many humans there.
You know why? Because I'm scared of all the urban legends.
Ah,
Yeah, let's bring it
it's
back.
interesting you bring up urban legends because the movie we're dealing with this week centers on them.
Yes,
It
it does.
is. Don't say it 5 times looking in the mirror, everybody. We're back to Candyman.
Yes, the
That's one.
1992 original Candyman.
That's two. Damn it, three.
And 2 superstitious
Candyman,
for us, though.
Candyman.
I won't
Oh,
like mess with the black magic.
You never did that.
Candyman, Candyman, Candyman,
Ah,
Candyman.
I remember doing that in elementary school, like first, second grade. We go in the classroom because I think was it 95, 96, the second one was coming out, and we were all talking about that and like go up to the window and like the whole Bloody Mary thing. That was like the 90s generation one, and the 80s was like that late 80s, I should say, was starting to get into that urban legend and mythology of it.
Mhm.
But it was just like Candyman was just a different beast. And
Mhm.
watching it, I've seen it multiple times. Watching it again, it still hits me. The music, the tone, the ambiance. Like you're
The-
watching this woman, just Helen, just break down.
Yeah.
And the question is it really him doing? And you brought up a good point with our outline and stuff that I never thought is maybe she was doing the entire time because I never thought of it like that. I always thought he was, but that little
Well,
curveball he put on
I
there.
mean,
Voorhees is
I believe that Candyman is my bigger question is how many of them is she culpable for?
I
Maybe
mean,
she's
well,
culpable for unaliving.
How many of those Candyman events are really Helen's responsibility? Because one for sure is.
yes.
The psychiatrist is 100%.
I think Bernadette's a definite.
I mean, Bernadette,
The knife, and I feel like the hook
but
going into the back of her head is Candyman transferring himself to her and controlling her.
I mean, it's possible they're playing on what they'll get to in the Nia DaCosta one that, Candyman can be multiple people. He is multiple people across time, but I think Candyman is really doing the offings or the whatever we want to call them
The
to
unalivings.
the events are, but she like the psychiatrist definitely her fault. She didn't have to do that. Bernadette kind of as much Bernadette's fault because she was lockstep in this whole thing for the whole time. She willingly did the Candyman in the mirror too. Like she
stopped though. She
yeah,
stops.
yeah. I mean, she chickens out, but she was along for the ride for not completely willingly, but not unwilling.
Fair. Agreed on that.
So Bernadette is iffy, but the psychiatrist is definitely Helen's fault.
Psychologist is definitely.
Well,
I forgot the dog scene was in there.
the dog scene is the roughest scene in this movie for me.
Well, it's
Easily.
just
Like by
I
a lot.
completely forgot.
You can do anything to a human being, and I'll just like maybe blink, but no, that dog part is rough.
Well,
What did he ever
So
do to
we hear-
Cameron? What racist dogs exist? Jeez.
I was gonna say on an even level, we all enjoy Candyman, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
I had a hard time
I-
watching it as a kid.
Well, yeah, I mean the whole idea of the urban legend, the enticement of wanting to say it 5 times, but it leads to my idea that don't you notice like any good movie opens up with that TriStar Productions opening with the horse running to you or the unicorn?
The
I guess it's
Pegasus, yeah.
a Pegasus.
Yeah.
Like even if a movie is quote unquote bad, I feel like anything with a TriStar gives you like a fuzzy feeling. I think it's like our nostalgia nowadays. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, this is gonna be a good movie.
Yeah, there's a few of those that are generally you see that label and you know you're gonna have a good time. Dimension was like
universal.
that for a long time.
Ooh, Dimension. The old, like the late 80s, early 90s one, which was like the first like really in-depth color with the clay. Like
Century Fox
Flintstones
used to
era.
slap too.
The thing with 20th Century Fox is I'd see that and I'd automatically default to specific movies. Be like, oh, this is gonna be this. It's all. Oh, it's not that.
It's not that.
But there was always a bit of letdown built in with that.
Well, also it was cool. I said it because I get excited about this little like these tidbits. Is like if you watch Alien, like at the end of the intro for 20th Century Fox, you start hearing like the music incorporated into the 20th Century Fox theme, and that's how they. And that was very different for that time because usually you just get the studio to promote what they're producing, but 20th
Trademark
Century Fox.
transitions.
But remember how simple those all were, though, too? Like, you'd get the drums, you know, MGM, you'd get the lion roar.
Love the
Terminator,
lion.
too.
But
Like literally
now-
Terminator. Yeah.
now they're like all like mini movies almost.
Yeah.
You
It's so
have the
annoying.
Pixar and the like all that stuff. It's
It's-
like this is like a 2-minute just this is our production company's movie.
It's like Disney doesn't hit any longer. Like you see the whole castle in the 3D projection, which is cool.
Yeah,
But
it's
all I need is the blue background with the white castle, the
Uh-huh.
star going over.
Yeah, and
Simple.
Tinkerbell fly through with her little magic dust.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
all you need.
we don't need anything.
And, you know.
Like-
So back to Candyman and the urban legend element of it. That's where we jump off. Bernadette and Helen are doing I guess a master's thesis on urban legends. And they've stumbled upon the Candyman legend. For me, one of the things that I rabbit holes I started to go down a little bit with this is urban legends themselves. Do you know how recent that phrase is?
Gotta be the 70s or 80s, right?
Yeah.
80s, yeah.
80s.
1980s. It's believed to be first used in a collection published by Jan Harold Brunvand.
Oh.
But like, you know, the urban legends themselves, minus the name, go back centuries. Like every culture has had them. The original intention is really like make sense of a world you don't understand, and it's then the dangers.
Modern
know,
day folklore.
Yeah,
Exactly.
was.
Make out
know,
with
you-
your cutie pie up at the but make out point, or
Mhm.
else you're gonna get it. Like,
Mhm.
don't get pregnant. Instead of just telling pregnant.
And-
Unalive.
And you know, you have the ones that are harmless, you know, the ones that are centered on like famous people, like the Marilyn Manson ones that we all knew without an internet.
Yeah.
Like,
That
you
is
didn't
one of
need-
the worst things about our generation right there.
You know what's
Yeah.
you know what's crazy
Generations.
about it? It's from my era and all that when we heard that rumor, it went from high school down to the middle school to us being like, did you hear what the middle school kids were talking about?
Yeah.
Everybody knew, like, oh, he's the kid from the Wonder Years, or he had a rib removed so he could do things to himself. Like,
That was the one.
those are
rib.
the two. Like everybody knew them. And locally, I don't know if this was one that got to you guys. I won't go into specifics because it's particularly disgusting and weird. But the Richard Gere one too. I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah.
that one
Yes.
got to
Yeah.
you.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know
we
if
got
that-
it. Everybody
got-
knew the Richard Gere one.
Oh,
I
God,
don't know how widespread that one was.
How
That was in the
widespread was
Inquirer.
it, John?
Well, I mean,
Wise?
at least that. All right.
Are we talking a hamster? What are we on, Ellen?
Yeah,
I
like
think it was
that.
a guinea pig.
That was like local. So like, did that transcend into like other parts of the country, or was that just like
that was
yeah, my
it was a
friend
Family
worked
Guy
in the-
episode.
Yeah, my
Yes.
friend worked in
Yes.
the ER when he came in that way. Like
Oh, wow.
everybody knew a guy who knew a guy, and that's sort of how the urban legends all work. And
What's his
then
excuse?
you know you
His sequel,
yeah
Pretty wrote it.
yeah you've always had these this sort of scary ones too. You know, you had Bloody Mary, like that goes back who knows how long, but that's always been there. And like you get the elements, like you could say Bigfoot is kind of urban legend. You can say all of
Yeah.
that, like. But now, like you have like an invention of a whole new subset of them that are way more dangerous, not necessarily scary, but more dangerous because now you have these things living on in things like creepy pastas and
Yeah.
Slender Man, which then inspires two teenage girls to try to eliminate another teenage girl to appease Slender Man.
In
You
real
know,
life, John is talking about
this is
something that
yeah, this
occurred in
the,
real
you know, you range from the goofy, the funny to Slender
tangible.
Man to
And
fictionally Candyman. And Candyman is like pretty obviously a take on the Bloody Mary. You know, you say the name X number of times into the mirror and it appears, but even not every Bloody Mary myth I found is violent. You know, sometimes it's just she comes and kind of helps you and comforts you and like
I never
but
heard that
yeah,
version.
no, I stumbled on
Jeez.
that. Like I always thought that was just like she's gonna show up and like it's
With an
on, but it
axe. Yep.
yeah, yeah, but it's not. Like it's not always been
wonder if she
that
was the
way.
Lizzie Borden thing.
Mm,
Axe. I wonder if that's
yeah,
what got something to do with Bloody Mary.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that plays into it as well.
Lizzie Borden and Bloody Mary are connected, but like if you read some of like the urban legends, they are separated
Mhm.
nowadays. Lizzie Borden with the axe, Bloody Mary with the axe, but
Well,
originally
Lizzie
there was a
Borden's not an
connection.
urban legend though. Like
Oh
Lizzie
no,
Borden.
she's real.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I've been to her house. Cool. Yeah, and when they
That's
do the
cool.
whole tour and they're like, well, allegedly when she came in, I'm like, she's not around. You can just say it now. She did it.
yeah, she's not gonna sue you.
Yeah.
So, you know, from these urban legends, you get Helen and Bernadette now full on investigating. Like, you know, at first it's just with the incoming freshmen and getting like, oh yeah, we've heard the Candyman story, a friend of a friend or my friend's cousin. And then, you know, you get to the point where one night Helen's working on it and the cleaning lady hears the story and she's, oh yeah, my friend who's working down the hall knows about Candyman. And then that friend comes in and tells her the story of Ruthie May and gives it a location too. So it's now more than just like a bunch of freshmen are telling me this story about people who knew people who did this. Now it's, well, yeah, I knew of a person who did this, and here's where it happened, which gives them a place to investigate. And there's two ways we can go with this because the story of Cabrini-Green is kind of like, you know, typical modern American failed city planning. And then the story of Ruthie Mae McCoy, who is the inspiration for the Ruthie Mae story
Yeah.
in Candyman, is really something to go into because it's really
Yeah. It's a little spooky. Not gonna
it's
lie.
yeah
One of those police call stories that you kind of, if you were a cop, you don't want to ever get that call.
yeah you don't want to respond the way they
Yeah.
responded. So it's a Chicago story and it's in public housing. Ruthie Mae McCoy is a 52-year-old woman who is known to be paranoid, eccentric. You know, she dressed strange. She yelled at people in the projects. Like she was kind of an odd person to begin. But that doesn't seem to have been something that was known by police. It was just sort of locally known. So April 22nd, I believe, of 1987, I couldn't find the year. At about 8:45, Ruthie Mae calls 911. And she tells the 911 operator that she can hear sounds that make it seem like the neighbors are tearing the place down. And then that the neighbors are trying to enter her apartment through the bathroom medicine cabinet, which we then see in Candyman and is
Yep.
apparently something that was built into some of these buildings. these passages behind the apartments.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
The tenement corridors are so spooky.
Yeah, I mean it really kind of surprises me that something like Candyman didn't exist before the Clive Barker story, because the whole setup is there. You have everything you need to have that kind of scary story in these neighborhoods with hallways behind medicine cabinets. So she calls the 911 dispatcher, sends the police, but not as an attempted breaking and entering, but as a disturbance call. So it's immediately less important to them. It's in the projects to begin with. So, they're not super eager to go there because it's not safe.
Right.
And then it's not an urgent call. So within 20 minutes, they get 2 more 911 calls. This time that, there's shots fired in the neighbor's apartment. So that ups the call. Now you get a response. You get multiple cops on the scene. You get, management from the building, and the cops get a key. Key doesn't open the door. They knock, no response. Key doesn't work. They knock again, no response. So now they're left with the decision. Should we enter? We have reports of gunshots. We're not getting a response from inside. Somehow, between the police officers on the scene and the building management, they become concerned that if they break down this person's door, they're going to get sued.
Amazing. This is the
But
best.
this is an emergency, though.
So they don't break down the door. Over the next couple of days, there
Call
are
it a
more
night.
calls. There's more calls to 911 and to the police that, hey, we're worried because we haven't seen this person in a day and then 2 days. So finally, the police are convinced to come back with management and a key that works. And they enter, and Ruthie Mae is no longer alive on the floor of her apartment, shot multiple times. Now, the coroner's report, she probably wouldn't have survived even with prompt attention. The pulmonary vein had been severed. It's not going to do anybody any good. Like, if she
They didn't
just
need to go
bled
that
out.
far for Ruthie Mae, though. Nobody was
No,
Nobody was
no,
gonna
no.
flip out over her.
And nobody was really going to sue for Ruthie Mae either. I mean,
That was
but-
probably the building owner who was gonna sue them.
Yeah.
yeah, that was probably way more likely. And at that point, it was still city controlled. Eventually, all in reading about Cabrini-Green in particular was eventually taken over by the federal government because it had just become unmanageable for the city of Chicago.
Right. Okay.
That's an extended story for another time, and
I was
maybe
gonna
we
say
need to
a
lighten
story.
things up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it might be time for a game there, fellas.
I think
Yeah,
it
I'm
is
ready for
time
a game. Or slash.
You want to play a
It
game?
is Stash or Slash, and
Oh,
we're going to go back to the 3 movies to guess. If you guess it correct, you're going to get a bonus stash. If you guessed it
Okay.
incorrect, you're going to lose one. And this might be one you don't want to lose.
Of course it is.
let's see.
I'm a pretty big fan of the list of movies I have, and I don't think it's super easy to guess. But let's
Okay.
see. Movie number 1 is,
I remember this movie, and I know already what I think it is, but hold on.
are we stashing or slashing?
I'm gonna slash colors because Robert Duvall trying to like connect with urban youth in this
It's
movie
great,
is
though.
so funny. It's
Uh,
great. I think people should watch this film. Is it like the best movie in the world? No. No, it's not. It's not like super wonderful.
It's
You
decent.
get the same thing out of Training Day, largely. It's not
Mhm.
Cops and Training. Well, I guess it is Cops and Training Day, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna slash it, but I'm trying to think of the theme. I'm going with something, but
yeah, we're both probably on the same thing. But I'm thinking it's a
Yeah.
decoy. Might be decoyed
need-
out.
that's why I need to see the
Oh,
second film
all
before I
right.
start.
Well, I'll give you a second film. We are going to the 1990 Night of the Living Dead, the Tom Savini Night of the Living Dead.
That part is important.
It's very
Mhm.
important.
That takes place in a city.
It does not.
Okay.
Are these
It's
films
you-
with Tony Todd in them?
They are Tony Todd movies.
Nice. Nicely done, dude.
There you go.
I was thinking about it because I was like, colors, but Night of the Living Dead. And you actually gave a hint and you said it's the most important thing. And I said, what's the one connection these
Yeah, 'cause
movies are going to
I,
have?
for one, I don't
That's
see
Tony
color,
Todd.
so maybe I should get an extra stash too. Well, by the way, it's not what we call people anymore, Ryan. At that time.
Oh boy! Before we get canceled, are we keeping Night of the Living Dead 1990?
Yes, I'm stashing that
Yes.
Living Dead.
I'm stashing it as one of my 4. As one of my
I
4.
knew I'd get you tonight, Ryan, and I did. I got you.
So movie
Wait.
3.
Wait till bring her back.
Never happening.
Movie number.
We can record it. We'll do everything. I'm just never going to release the episode. Hatchet.
Hatchet.
Yeah, he's the voodoo guy.
Yep.
So much
Yep.
character in that hatchet too. Look at the chip
Wait
in it
a
and everything.
minute. You might have Final Destination on here though.
I mean, it
too.
almost certainly does.
I was gonna say, I
I'm
do
not
like
Yeah.
a huge fan of Final Destination though.
the first one.
Yeah.
The first one.
First one was
second
okay.
The first one is okay. After that, I'm not. I don't know. I can take
Oh.
or leave Final Destination.
The lumber.
As a
seat.
franchise,
No, like 1 or 2. 3's pushing it.
Not in love
I'm
with it.
stashing. I'm stashing Hatchet. By the way, I do like Hatchet.
it's good, but I think I'm gonna slash it,
It's
or
my
maybe
key
I'll
hunter.
chop it.
Huh.
Shop it.
Chopped out.
Movie number 4.
Oh,
Crow.
Ryan.
Stash.
Ryan, this is your last stash.
No, he's
I
got
do
one
have. I do
extra.
have an extra.
So
I would have.
also be stashing this movie.
I
Can't
I
rain all the time,
forgot.
guys.
I
Oh
love this
boy,
film.
you're both down to 1.
I'm
I
good
know
with the
what's
Crow.
left. I know
Yeah,
what's
but
left.
you want to know something?
Alright,
I'm
so
satisfied with
two-
Night of the Living Dead.
This one satisfies the urban legend aspect too.
It
Yeah,
does.
It does.
Because Brandon
Next.
Lee was fired upon with the incorrect
Mhm.
projectile. YouTube for making us censor things.
It just
no
makes us be
reason.
creative.
It's so infantilizing.
It is.
I don't mind being creative, but I am also not like. I have ways that I talk, and I have to change the ways I talk.
It like makes us not fumble.
Too
Wait a
late for me
minute.
to like self-censor all the time. And we record these after a long work week on a Friday, everybody. So we're always like kind of barely clinging on.
Yep.
Like,
Number 5.
God damn it,
Platoon.
wrong. All right, I'm done. I'm done. Stash it.
you are down.
Stash
Oh.
Platoon. Stash Platoon.
You do love Platoon.
I do love Platoon. I do
Willem
it.
Dafoe, Charlie Sheen's Answer to Apocalypse Now, tiger blood
Oh.
running through his veins.
We're gonna have some decisions to make with Ryan soon.
Not really. He's done. That was his last one.
Oh no, he
No,
said I
you-
messed up.
We're gonna have some decisions to make with Ryan.
Interesting. I'm gonna
Terrence, where are you?
slash. I'm gonna slash Platoon, just because. But I
I
have a
love-
feeling a movie I love more is coming up. So
I mean, I think that's entirely possible.
I might
Next,
be right about that.
The Rock.
Oh, that's
Carla was the
Right.
prom queen.
the
Let's just do
supposed
one
sequel-
one-liner from each of these movies now.
The supposed sequel to the James Bond.
It's you.
It's
You're the Rocket Man.
Well, we know what Ryan's doing here.
oh yeah, I'm slashing it. I'm
Oh
fine
yeah,
with that.
because you
This
don't
is
have a
another
choice.
one, dude. This is a trap, John. This is a trap.
Oh, this is a big trap.
Yeah. I love this movie too. I watched this movie like 100 times growing up. I love the lore too, that it's a continuation of James Bond. It's a pretty sweet little like urban legend.
Mm-hmm.
I love this movie so much. Why couldn't I have a million? Tony Todd was in so many good movies.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
These are just the ones that I figured that you guys had seen. There's so many good like B and cult ones too. All right, there it is, Ryan. Sorry,
Oh, that
Is
you
this
know
our
what,
last
though?
one?
we
Yep.
have one left.
You can. Oh, there's one. Oh, but
I'm gonna
still, you-
slash Final
seven.
Destination too.
That's fine. You know what? It's one of those things where if it didn't exist, I'd be fine.
I'd be happier.
It existing, like it kind of it I mean, in my universe, it's gone, but in everyone else's universe where it exists,
The only
it's like one of those. It hits because it's different. The whole
the only
idea of
thing
death
this really
pursuing.
did to help the world was give us a little bit more Ali Larder.
Yeah,
I can say the
I
same for Friday Night Lights.
I love the first
Or is it Varsity
10 or
Blues?
15 minutes.
the plane.
The plane, I love that scene and those moments. And then after that, it just like there are parts throughout the franchise that live up to that. You know, the logs and like there's some good stuff throughout, but it's just not a complete franchise for me.
Mm.
You kind of like you can do different things of people unaliving and all that,
Yeah.
but it just becomes redundant. Like it's
Mhm.
cool, like the first time they do it, and the second time, okay, we up the ante. But then by the third one, we got tanning beds and a roller coaster that goes off the rails. I
Yep.
mean,
Get the front man on this poster for a second and just see the sign of the times that is.
oh, Sean
I
William
know.
Scott, yep,
Oh, he's in the back.
Yeah,
Stifler.
no,
I'm talking
that's
about the dude in the front
Devin
who's like,
Sawa right in the front with the
yeah,
frosted tips.
the way he's posed.
Yeah.
Come
Everything
on,
screams.
I had frosted
Everything
tips.
screams. We're making money off of Scream,
Mhm.
actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, last movie. Fortunately, one of you can stash this. It's tonight's topic,
Yes.
Candyman.
You've done that to us a few times now. Brutal.
Oh.
I will stash Candyman. I would have had trouble putting this up against maybe. Actually,
If
no.
you
I
would
live with
allow
this instead of like The Rock and stuff.
if you'd allow a trade, I'd trade hat.
Nope, your involvement in tonight's episode has come to an end.
Kick me
That's
out.
the consequence. He gets
Yeah, I mean,
removed.
remember I said weeks ago, if you slash a movie, it's gone. It doesn't exist to you anymore. Ryan,
Imagine if that was true.
I don't know what you're going to talk about the rest of the night because we're talking about a movie that doesn't exist in your world.
There's no more of that.
I still saw it yesterday, so it existed yesterday.
Yeah,
Did
but
exist
not
yesterday.
today. But not today, sir.
I still have a memory. I have a
John.
memory, John.
I
No
mean,
clock.
you can have a memory, but it's like the Mandela effect.
Listen, it's
We never
Bernstein
slashed
Bears.
Pan's Labyrinth, did we? I know I slashed the thing,
No,
which I
no,
still don't
no,
forgive
no.
myself for.
No, Pans has always been saved.
Yes,
That's
and
it. Yeah, you
every
slashed
child
the
day.
thing.
You redeemed yourself too for having watched that in a reasonable amount of time after we ridiculed you, we mock you.
Ridicule. No, I
I
watched
to
that
bring it
pretty
up every
quickly.
5 episodes to keep it in the Google SEO so we can be synonymous with Pan's Lab.
Yeah.
Why do you
But-
think I keep bringing back about Bring Her Back?
Or
Come on. If we get
you
if
want
we
us
get
to
a,
be
if we get
associated
over
with horrible movies?
get us
Horrible.
100 likes, audience members, and we'll watch Bring Her Back soon.
Good luck with that, Scooter. They're going to have to dig through this for 36 minutes, and then they're going to have to hear that, and then there's going to have to be enough of them. I like my odds.
I'm clipping it.
It's like when the Make-A-Wish people, like, they tag Shaq or something, and then you stumble upon the tweet, and Shaq never responded. That's how you're going to feel. Like, come on,
Jesus.
Shaq. I'm in Greece. He'll be back in a little while. He's like, but he doesn't have a lot of time. All right, let's move on.
So, this movie was almost NC-17 when the NC-17 rating was very popular at that time.
We were growing up.
And-
That was always like basically we thought that was a porn.
Yeah.
17. We didn't realize
Yeah.
back then that it could be like horrible depictions of violence and such. Kind of like Bring Her Back.
Mm. It was
Yeah.
still kind of a kiss of
That's
death,
you.
though.
Yeah, because it destroyed your
Like,
box office.
It wasn't
That's
the
the
kiss of death that the X was. Because if you got an X, you weren't getting shown anywhere.
No.
Nobody would go
But
to see
the-
the
I'm-
movie.
The NC-17 movies all really struggled too.
They used to play a couple of them at our local mall back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I like doing a couple. Not me
Yeah,
seeing
you-
them, but they'd advertise.
You'd get them at the independent theaters and stuff, but you'd
Yeah.
almost never get them in like a Regal or something like that.
Well, you got to consider how much that space was to rent and then how much each one of the theaters real time was worth. And if you're getting a movie where you can't pack the theater with tickets, I should pack
Yep.
the theater with people who bought tickets, then you're really wasting
Yeah.
I mean, now we see how they make up the difference. They charge $47 for a bucket of popcorn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was always, sort of, to me, also an issue of enforcement.
Yeah.
How do you keep under 17? You can't. They couldn't keep them out of our movies. How are you going to keep them out of an NC-17?
We
Any
used to
better?
prop the door at our
Yep.
theater. John and I
Yeah.
went to the same theater growing up. We used to prop the door,
Mhm.
and people would come in. We get like
Absolutely.
8 kids come in the back.
Absolutely.
And nobody snitched back then. There would be adults in the theater watching you do it. Nobody
Mhm.
said anything like, "Oh, those rastabouts." Oh,
Oh,
Because
as
he was
long as
no-
you came in and
Yeah.
were reasonably respectful watching the movie, nobody complained how you got in.
Yep.
You just couldn't get caught.
Movies were $5.50, and we're not talking a matinee. It was $5.50 for a movie ticket back then.
Yep.
And we would have bought the ticket at 14, but we couldn't
Mhm.
buy an R-rated movie ticket.
Yeah.
So we had to steal the movie instead.
Absolutely.
on the table.
You snuck into everything.
Yes, sir.
One kid would buy a ticket if they could, or you'd buy the ticket to something else, and you'd sneak into the other theater and let everybody else in.
That was how we did it. We would get a ticket to something else, prop the door in the theater we wanted, and then boop, 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 everybody would pile in.
That's what you told us the story when you went to see Mystic River.
Yep. Well, that was different. That was at college, and we just walked into the other theater because we knew the showtime was starting like 20 minutes before the end of the other movie, Scary Movie 3 or whatever. Well, not Scary Movie 3, I think we saw. So we
It
just
still counts.
right back in. Well, I told you, and I'll repeat it on this show. I loved Mystic River. It's a work of art. So I went out and I paid for the ticket. I just bought one for a different showtime. That's all. Because there was no reserved seats or anything back then. Just make sure that I gave my money to Sean Penn before he came and found me.
Which, the whole reserve seating, like, I don't get it. Just go find your seat and enjoy the movie. But no, you did the right thing with Mr. River. Actually, I mentioned that a few days ago, and a few people haven't seen that film, and I was like, oh, shocking. Yeah. And these people are very, like, into film and
Amy
interested in film.
film debut, or like at least close to it, I think. Amy Rosen from Shameless is the
Yep.
daughter. And then
Yep.
she, I think immediately afterward, did Phantom of the Opera or something. Then she did Shameless, but
Yeah,
It
which
works.
is, she went on that deep end
I mean,
in Chicago.
I appreciated, I mean, this is way too far into this tangent for me, but she said, I can never remember, William H., what's his name, Macy?
Macy.
Yep.
He
Macy.
was getting paid a ludicrous, because he's William H. Macy, Academy Award winning William H. Macy. Am I correct
Yep.
with that, or no? Just legend,
Right.
maybe? Yeah, we might have to look that up. He was getting paid a
I'm going-
ludicrous amount of money per season, and she was not, and she was carrying the show for the most part. She was like the main character, and she fought for pay, and he backed her up, and he was like, "You have to pay her what she deserves," and she ended up getting paid a ton more for the last 3 or 4 seasons, which was great.
2 Emmys.
Did he win for like Fargo or something? 2 Emmys.
2 Emmys, 4 Screen Actor Guild Awards, been nominated for 5 Golden Globes and a Drama Critics Circle Award.
But never an Academy Award nod.
He's been nominated. He was nominated for supporting in Fargo.
Okay.
Who
I
did
was
he
gonna
lose
say
to
that.
that year?
I was gonna
John would
roll.
know that.
I'd have to look that up.
Going down that rabbit hole right now. Because I'm kind of curious too. I was going to say Joe Pesci, but that was 1990.
Because that was a
So
big
90,
year. I'm
right?
sure Fargo cleaned up. Oh, dude. Cuba Gooding Jr., bro. And Jerry Maguire.
Okay. Yeah.
You're not winning
Show
that
me
year,
the
bro.
money.
You're not winning that year.
I
No,
don't
I mean,
know.
But hold on.
Now,
who else?
should he have won?
Who else was
Fargo.
there?
the
But
Cuba
Maguire
Gooding
was
Jr. Yeah.
destroying.
Hold
Yeah.
up. We got Edward Norton in Primal
Give me
Fear
a
as
hello.
Aaron Stampler. Like, that's... Oh, no, John?
He was good, but the movie didn't hold up enough for him to win an award for it. I think is the problem.
You want to
It
talk
was
about
that
the Ghost of
Richard Gere
Mississippi?
rumor. That's what did it.
James Woods? It's Richard Gere.
That's what got him. All
Yeah.
right. Back to Candyman,
hamster or the
everybody.
gerbil?
So one of the things I like the best about this movie is the way that they turn the villain into a tragic character. That's
Yeah.
not something every movie can pull off too well. Actually trying to think of an example of another movie where they turn him into a tragic character like this. Like Denzel Washington in Training Day.
Yeah.
Now John's trying to rationalize it. And he's like, no, I was trying to turn it into a joke, but I couldn't figure out how to land it.
He was a good cop at
Well,
one.
the thing is that he used to be King Kong, who ruled over Skull Island, right? But then Godzilla shows up, and
But King Kong had nothing on him.
there
No,
you go.
King
He
Kong
got
had
nothing.
nothing
Oh yeah,
on
that's right. He didn't say I'm King Kong. He said King Kong's
No,
got nothing
King
on me.
Kong
So
has
the
nothing
whole
on
thing
me.
falls flat. Everybody, good job. We're leaving that in the episode just to
But
show how stupid I am.
the reason why Candyman is so tragic is as it opens, like you get the urban legend, and it's like this feared figure of Cabrini-Green. It's like they're God in a way. Like they fear their God. And it's tragic because you find out the backstory that he was just a painter and he was a slave, and
He was high
he
society
wasn't, oh, I'm sorry, he wasn't a
for an
slave.
African American in that time period. He was
He was
educated. He was cultured. Like he was.
May have been why it was probably helped for him being killed.
he was
Yeah,
in England, right?
No,
Not in this one.
in the movie he's in Chicago.
He was in Chicago, which is
Yes.
interesting that, well, I mean, fair Chicago, pretty open with that.
I mean,
He's in the North, and then there's
Yeah.
plenty of racists in the North who didn't like that.
and he's a free man who is educated, cultured in the North, and obviously comfortable being around white women to the point where he, falls in love and impregnates a white woman, which leads to his end.
Yeah.
He's lynched because of a relationship with a white woman, which, plays into, a pretty common racist fear of the time period, that time period, the African
They
American.
took our jobs.
They took our jobs. Now they're taking our women. It's.
But you forget too that he gets eaten alive by the bees as he's getting lynched.
Yeah,
And I know
that's.
I know we definitely talked about the clause in Tony Todd's contract
Yep.
in a previous episode, but we should probably have it in
Oh,
bears
absolutely.
repeating.
in the Candyman episode that, Virginia Madsen did not have the bees in her mouth. That's movie magic. Tony Todd did. Tony Todd did, and Tony
What
Todd
a
negotiated $1,000 per bee sting.
I
What do you think
wonder
counted
what
'em?
part. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Person who went into that mouth and was like one.
I would
two.
imagine you having somebody who's independent. I mean, if I'm Tony Todd, I'm like, yes, I got stung here, and like 60 times I think I got stung. He got stung 22 times officially.
Officially 22.
Those are the times he remembered.
It's a hard
It's
one,
like,
22
that's
grand. I can use 22 grand right now. I don't know if I would take 22 bee stings in the mouth for it though.
I'd be dead, so it wouldn't be worth it.
How many?
Could we get?
I would be unalive.
I think
bees
dead
were
is
in-
okay. I think it's the K word that's not okay.
I'd still be safe with that. I think unalive, extinction.
That's a lot of bee stings, though. Like, even if you're not allergic, I think at some point you're allergic.
I think it would force you from allergic. How many bees do you think were in his mouth? Because it looked like a whole. Yeah,
A
that looked like a
lot.
whole nest. Just
Like,
pouring out.
they just stuck the whole hive in his mouth.
Yeah, it's spooky.
How's that, honey,
Oh,
Tony?
Yeah.
Shit.
But I feel like when you watch the scene, you can also see him react in a way as he's closing his eyes.
Well, I mean, it kind of works because he's a tortured, pained character,
That's the
and
thing.
now you're getting that tortured, pained expression without acting it. He's getting his mouth stung by bees. You're gonna emote.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
method right there. Definitely method. But he's tragic, and it makes you side with him, which in turn
Mhm.
makes you like kind of complicit a little bit in what he does throughout the movie. But is he the most tragic character in the movie?
I mean, Helen's pretty up there.
Yeah.
What about villain?
Helen's-
Is there a bigger villain?
I could argue Trevor.
You
Which
think
I
I
could
would
argue.
like.
I could. I mean, Candyman is kind of doing what Candyman does at that point, and it's a vengeance thing. You're gonna f around and find out by saying his name in the mirror. You're asking for what Candyman brings to you. Trevor, I mean, right from the first time you meet Trevor, he's doing shady stuff. Like, he promised Helen he's not going to do the urban legends myth that semester. He's going to wait so that she can talk to the freshmen without them, sort of being let in on these urban legends and affecting their stories. He did it anyway. He's openly flirting with the co-eds after his class.
Yep.
He's like not around, like he shows up late. It's like, the middle of the night and he comes home from somewhere. And then as Helen needs him, he's becoming more absent until finally he's her phone call from jail and he's not home. And
3 o'clock in the morning.
you can pretty much figure out where he is at that point. And then it's confirmed that within a month of her being hospitalized, he's moving in with, a young, attractive blonde girl.
That is definitely a villain role right there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's like the start of a villain arc.
If you're on the Hallmark Channel, especially.
Now, I
sure.
will say this, and spoilers, Trevor
Christmas.
does sort of redeem himself. Like, at the end, he's really upset about what happens with Helen at the end.
Yeah, I mean, he should feel guilty for like
Mhm.
he instead of helping her, he kind of let her go through her own demise in
Yeah.
her own way and
Mhm.
become her own urban legend while reaping
Which-
the benefit.
They really hammered that point home at her funeral when the people of
Yes.
Cabrini-Green show up to put the hook in her
Which is cool.
grave. I like that scene a lot.
There's a lot of imagery in this film, and it goes with the painting, but it's the culture, and it's letting viewers, not of one culture, but many cultures, into that world. And it's like you get a little history on it. And I feel like we were talking about it before the podcast, like the whole idea of like a lot of slashers during this time are either set in Chicago or New York City, which is like two epicenters of culture. Like the different, like Candyman could be a defense of like the idea of social class too, with the idea of like Cabrini-Green, the ghetto, the projects, compared to Helen and Trevor's life of being, I would think she's a graduate student. I was thinking she's a teacher as well.
They don't really establish a lot.
So there's a thing with pre-doc and doctoral candidates and stuff like that. They give lectures to college students, but they're not technically professors themselves. It's like part of this, the process. So that might be the thing.
The building she and Trevor live in is also a converted project building. Like it was originally designed as a public housing building also, which was kind of gentrified, before I think we as a society understood gentrification in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Absolutely. I don't know. One of the things I get into with this movie is just that it was my introduction into Tony Todd being like a major star. As far as that, like that's what put his face in my brain. He'd been in this is the Tony Todd movie that put him on my map.
yes.
And I don't know if he gets his flowers enough in the acting world, but he certainly does from us.
Oh.
Tony Todd is one of those legendary horror people that, those outside of horror, you maybe seen him in stuff. You've seen him in The Rock. You've seen him in The Crow. But like he's kind of like in those movies, oh yeah, that guy. He's the guy you've recognized from stuff, not the legend.
There wasn't really a big surge of that, like knowing who, let's see, Stanley Tucci is or J.K. Simmons until somewhat more recently. And Tony Todd sort of slots into that category a bit.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Big supporting
And he utilized it to get a main role though, because technically he is the titular character
No, you did not, sir. That was
Oh,
perfect.
word.
The best tit we've heard
Really?
all night.
Word. But like he's really like even though he's like in name the main character and he is the main character in the film, he does have that supporting role though still because it's more of Helen and her
Mhm.
journey. And it's very similar to I don't know if you guys read the short story by Clive Barker, The Forbidden. Yeah, it's very similar besides like adding a few more elements to relate it to Chicago because of the whole setting
Mhm.
being England and Clive Barker being from England and the
Mhm.
state level.
I see that.
They nail it though. This
Mhm.
whole movie nailed
And
it.
just to sort of put a bow on this and to connect it to a prior episode when we talked about the 2021 version of Candyman, the baby that Helen rescues from the fire at the end is Anthony, who goes on to be the main character in the 2021 version, who morphs into Candyman himself.
Yep.
Bum, bum,
And
bum. The legend
you know,
continues.
you get back to Cabrini-Green in the 2021 version, but there's no more towers because
No.
the towers were gone by that point. They tore the towers down over the course of the 90s and early 2000s, and they left the row houses, which you see in the 2021 film.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yep.
Cool bit of trivia right there.
Yeah, so they sort of do tie that all in.
And it's kind of nice too that they did that for Tony Todd as well. Let him live on through the remake. I
Yep.
don't know. I felt that they
It's
were
like a
honoring
requel.
him.
It's a
Yeah.
requel.
A requel, yeah, not remake. Good call. I feel like they
But
were
that's
honoring him a bit, which is nice, and he deserved it too.
100% they were honoring him. Projects, even without him, honored him.
Mhm.
The films that they were doing just because of like his influence, I guess, on certain actors and directors, writers. It's
Mhm.
like, but like, it's like he can do anything and it can't be no wrong. It's like not
Mhm.
even horror, like a Lance Henriksen. Even though he was like a big lead in The Wire, he steals the show. And like when
Mhm.
he passed away, like Tony Todd, it's like it hits you in the gut.
I think Tony Todd deserves his flowers, and I think I sort of expressed some displeasure with the Final Destination series, but one thing they did really well was his farewell in the most recent one in
Yes,
Bloodlines. That scene is beautiful and powerful in a movie that really doesn't deserve that, but
it's the best part of the movie,
Yeah.
absolutely.
and that's
And
kind of a way to wrap up our episode on
well,
Candyman.
one a little bit of trivia from this too that I wanted to bring up earlier. So the couple at the beginning, the first couple, the younger couple, the guy and the blonde girl, Candyman in the mirror,
Yeah. Ted Raimi.
Ted Raimi.
Yeah.
Did not know that. Cool,
Yep,
pretty cool.
the very
He-
recognizable Ted Raimi.
I'm trying to remember his name from Hercules. He was the soldier. I
Yeah.
thought he was all the time.
Well, I
He
mean,
gets-
he pops up in anything his brother did, in
Yep.
anything Bruce Campbell did, and then in a bunch of other stuff here and there. If either of them are involved, he's in it.
Pretty
I don't
sweet.
think. I don't think Sam Raimi was involved in Candyman.
Yeah, he got a few on his own.
I like Ted Raimi, underrated actor, very
I
funny.
mean, he is what he is. He's never going to be a leading man, but he's good.
He's not a Reggie.
Stuff.
So,
Ain't nobody Reggie.
before we tell you guys what we think of Candyman, do you want to hear what some other people think?
Yes, I almost forgot about the
Absolutely.
reviews.
All right. So, Rotten Tomatoes, we have a 79% critic score, but
Cool.
only a 64% audience score, which kind of surprises me. And I noticed, going through reviews, a lot of the bad reviews are people who just couldn't discern between 1992 and 2021. So you got some people complaining about the wrong movie in these reviews.
Interesting.
Well, they should watch the first one before watching the requel.
Another thing I saw a lot that I don't believe I included in the ones we're going to a little bit. A lot of the negative reviews claim racism, and we didn't go into it in this episode. I think when we do a Patreon, we will. And we'll sort of revisit Candyman to touch on heavier subjects. But anyway, 5 stars. This movie is an absolute classic. Tony Todd is excellent as Candyman, and Virginia Madsen as Helen is amazing. You want to root for her. The story is captivating, and some things throughout the film are bone-chilling, whether that be their death scenes and the consequences, or just the words that Candyman says. The writing is excellent, and all the messages they are trying to convey are done exceptionally well.
That was well written. I'll accept
that's
that.
It's very well written.
I like that one.
The opposite point of view.
All
I'm
right.
sure it exists.
No, it does. 1 star. And this is one I'm not 100% sure they reviewed the right one. Candyman is predictable, lengthy, it's an hour and a half, and not very scary. On top of that, it delivers a rather racist worldview towards people of color. Boring. Boring, unpleasant, ugly, and stupid. The movie can only be recommended if you skip to the very few scenes that involve the Candyman and leave out all the rotten filler.
Wow.
So basically, this is someone who thought they were getting the new Candyman, I believe.
I suspect that but because if you do a tiny bit of digging, like, maybe a Google search, is Candyman racist? You'll find that director Bernard Rose met with the NAACP with the script at the demands of the studio to make sure that we weren't producing a movie that was racist, and the NAACP signed off on this. And I mean,
Okay.
just the use of the phrase "people of color" makes me sort of suspect that this is not a person of color.
I'm guessing.
That this is someone that
Yeah.
This would be Patreon content, but there is such a thing as the pearl clutchers that over white knight for things that are issues for other folks and stuff. It's like the kind of bandwagon on victimhood.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like that's where that review goes, if it's even for the right one. And one more 1-star review for Candyman. Watching this in 2020, before the new one is released, and I'm not sure I want to make that mistake again. Candyman is the dumbest horror film I've ever seen.
You haven't seen enough horror films.
Not at all. The effects are worse than slasher films released a decade earlier, and there's absolutely nothing scary about it, other than how utterly terrible it is.
The music, the atmosphere, Tony Todd's acting, the gore level, like you being on the edge of your seat while looking at a mirror. Like, come on. This person cannot say they did not jump when his hand or the hook goes through the mirror.
Tainted from stuff too. I think Get Out, Nope, and things like that they're agenda-driven movies, which is fine. They have a tremendous amount of, I don't know, direction in one way or another. Turns off certain people to movies like them and Sinners, and then you get them watching classics that have nowhere near the amount of agenda like Candyman, but just because it touches on the subject, they immediately go feral about it. So I think this might be a case of one of those. That's my take anyway.
So, we heard other people. What do you guys think?
I give it 4 stars. And before the rewatch, I might have given it 3.5 based on memory. I didn't remember it being as good as it is. It's a good film. And when I say film, I liked it. It's a good film. I like what they did with it. I like that the story is well-rounded. There's depth. There's dimension to it. And it works. It's just a damn good movie. And I watched it for the first time, once again, WPIX 11, 8 o'clock, Halloween time. Candyman, Ninth Gate, all those movies were every year.
Yep.
What do you think, Ryan?
I'm going to give it 4 stars as well. Introduced the Candyman, like hearing it in school, the relationships, like the whole Bloody Mary myth, and having this urban legend during my time, 1992, and like being 95 elementary school, you hear it and then you see it on Sci-Fi, or you accidentally see it on IFC, or you watch it on AMC.
Yeah, we keep messing it up. It's fine.
AMC Fear Fest and watching it late at night, and you see, like, you say his name 5 times, it's something that stuck with me, and I love the film. The writing's done very well. It has a nice beat. It's not boring. Dialogue, you kinda get into the psychological aspect of Helen and what everyone's seeing to what like, everyone's not seeing to what she's seeing, and the whole dynamic of relationships, social class. It's a deep slasher film that didn't need to be deep, and it does it with a lot of credit, and I think it's something that everyone should give a chance, especially if you're into horror. Like, watch the movie, it's just so good, and it'll last with you, whether it's negative as we heard, but I feel like people who watch our show will have a more of a positive reaction to it if they haven't seen it.
Mhm. And I'm gonna go higher than you guys. I'm not gonna go as high as I would almost want to go, because
4.01.
if I went as high as I want to go, it then puts it in our blue star discussion,
Ooh.
and it doesn't deserve that level. But Candyman is a 4.5 for me.
Ah,
It hits the notes I want it to hit. It's got, the Philip Glass score works. It's so atonal almost in spots that it creates an atmosphere. The music alone creates an atmosphere, and then you have a really solid story. You have some really great characters. It's, yeah, 4.5.
very
Real
cool.
quick, because I was trying to remember what the score was. I love it that they use, like, classical music, like piano. It just fits the film so well,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that's, like, what, like, a lot of Clive Barker's works are, is a lot of his works are very classical, depending on the era, the tone, and that's really what leads to my top 5 tonight, and that's top 5 Clive Barker projects, whether he's written, directed, or executive produced, and we're gonna start off with Man tonight.
Nice.
So, number 5, we're starting off with one of my favorites based on his 1984 short story of the same name, The Midnight Meat Train, starring Bradley Cooper, Vinnie Jones, Ted Raimi, Leslie Bibb, Brooke Shields. It's about a photographer who attempts to track down a serial killer dubbed the Subway Butcher and discovers more than he bargained for under the city streets. Really good twist for 2008 because the ending really, like, I watched it on, like, blindly. I didn't, like, spoil it for myself. It was on IFC one night, and that ending still holds up to this day, I feel, if you've never seen it. But for a first watch, the twist is what makes it, because it goes from, like, this whole idea of a slasher film to something more menacing under the streets of New York City, which leads to my number 4. It is a remake done very well. We're gonna do executive produced by Clive Barker again, and that's the 2022 version of Hellraiser. Very close to the novel, which he wrote in 1986. The idea of Pinhead being more child and female-like is more apparent in this one. It gives you a little more with the lament configuration based on it not being a cube, but going through transitions and relating to each of the characters based on sin. And it was a nice change up, and I feel like the tone of Hellraiser was done correctly. It's on Hulu. If you haven't seen it, get on it. And that leads to number 3, which is we've talked about this on the podcast. It was a little higher up, but I kind of rechanged my list a little bit, and that's Nightbreed. Love Nightbreed. It's a movie I'll never slash. The Porcupine Woman. I mean, or the Bird Woman. Is she a bird or a porcupine, Kearns? Help me out here.
I don't know, but that sounded like a challenge.
What? You, the- what's that say?
Let's move
Was it?
on.
But love Nightbreed. Check out our episode where you can get more details on that. And that goes to number 2. Of course, I have to mention the original Hellraiser. I can't mention Clive Barker without it. We've talked about it so many times. But my number 1 might swerve you because I actually like the sequel more than the first film. I love the Hellbound Heart, or the Hellbound Hellraiser 2. I love it more than the first film just because I feel like Clive Barker, who he directed and wrote Nightbreed, Hellraiser 1 and Hellraiser 2. Hellraiser 1 was basically his novella, but he changed it up with Christie being more of a uh, daughter figure and more of a heroine, and he continues the story and he expands it more in the second one. And I feel like that's where he gets his niche, and that's where he steps out a lot more. It's like Tim Burton doing Batman. He did what DC and Warner Brothers wanted, which was Batman being a hero, and then Batman Returns was more of that Tim Burton film. And like Hellraiser was, for the film and the horror and close to the novel, but two was him to expand on it and him to be creative, and it shows. But that's my top five for this week. I'm curious how you went with this. I feel like you went with urban legends.
I did.
Ooh, okay.
Top
Like,
5 urban legends.
are we going like movie wise or
Movies.
story? Legends better be on here.
In fact, number 5, urban legends,
Yes.
Bloody Mary.
Ooh,
Not the
okay,
original.
you went with the sequel.
So there's a lot of movies based on the Bloody Mary legend. Some of them not so good, some of them a little better. And it's, it's say her name 3 times and the spirit of a bloody disfigured woman appears. So in this installment of the Urban Legends series, a group of girls summon her on prom night and she arrives to ruin their night.
This is.
I think it is, yeah.
I didn't know there was more than 2.
There's way more. That's why we were so enchanted by it earlier.
My number 4 is a movie it had been as well executed as I wanted it to be. It would be number 1 by a lot. It's a movie called The Forest. So based on the Japanese legends surrounding the Aokigahara forest, Sarah travels to Japan seeking answers after police call her and inform her that her sister is missing and presumed dead. With the help of a reporter and a forest guide, she goes looking for her sister in this notorious Japanese forest.
I want to
I
see
cannot
this.
say the urban legend name because we can't say that word.
We can't say that
Yeah.
word. That's where people go down a lot.
Yes,
There you
it's
go.
the unalive forest.
Since it's
There you
on your
go.
list, that's a positive that it was good. I've been wanting to see this for a while. 10 years now. It's hard to come by for me, at least.
I wanted it to be great.
Okay. I'm curious to see it now to see what your opinion of what didn't make it. Trying to find my words
Okay.
there.
Hey, you should watch it. Number 3, we're going to go to one of my favorites, Larry Cohen, and his movie, The Ambulance.
Lance.
Ambulance with Eric Roberts as Jacob. And the urban legend in this one is the organ theft or kidney heist.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good one.
So
That one, I don't know
Josh,
if that's so much urban legend as it is Bangkok legend.
So Josh is a comic book artist who meets a woman and they hit it off really quickly and they're having a great time and then she collapses. They call an ambulance. An old ambulance arrives and takes her away. But she never makes it to hospital and Josh goes looking for her through hospitals and he starts to stumble into a mystery involving a strange doctor and missing organs.
So
Yeah, no, I love this movie. It's so forgotten. It's like late 80s, early 90s. It's Larry Cohen and Eric Roberts, and they do a good job. My number 2 is kind of a twofer because there are 2 movies that really hit this urban legend, and it's When a Stranger Calls and Black Christmas. It's the call is coming from inside of the house, urban legend. Very often it's traditionally a babysitter who's getting the call, taunting her from upstairs, as in When a Stranger Calls, and eventually the police trace it as they do in Black Christmas and find out in that case it's coming from inside the sorority house. But once you know that, it's probably already too late.
100%.
And your number 1.
My number 1. This is one I didn't even know was an urban legend until I went looking. It's The Hitcher.
Oh yeah, I
Really?
know that is one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, based on the urban legend of the vanishing hitchhiker. You
Yep.
drive along the road and there's a hitchhiker and you pick him up and he'll eventually ask to get dropped off. And when you go to slow the car down, he's gone. In this case, the The hitchhiker is Howard in probably his most beautiful unhinged role as a psychotic drifter hitchhiker who takes out a lot of people and manages to blame it on a young man played by C. Thomas Howell. Everybody thinks he's doing it, with the exception of a truck stop waitress played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, who joins with him in an attempt to stop the hitcher and clear his name.
That's a good one for your number one. Obscure.
The Hitcher was on HBO all the time when I was a kid.
Really?
All the time.
It was a
Interesting.
HBO exclusive movie at the time.
I mean, when I started watching HBO movies, almost everything was an HBO exclusive because there weren't other movie channels.
Cannonball Run?
Jeffrey DeMunn is in that movie.
Yep.
What
Yeah,
isn't
no,
that? And geez.
Yes.
The Hitcher
No,
has a
and Hitcher.
rock star cast.
Yeah, it's
Just
pretty
like, not
solid all
Cannonball
around,
Run.
dude. But yeah, guys, that's Candyman, the original.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Tony Todd. Great,
Yeah,
great.
Rest in power legend.
Yep. The Rest in Power. Tim Curry is still alive.
Tim
He
Curry
is.
is still alive.
Almost like he's flaunting it
Um,
at this point.
Yeah.
Don't you?
And if you like what we do, follow us on YouTube at Xenomania50, Instagram at Xenomania50 as well, Xenomania Crew on Linktree, and anywhere you get your favorite podcasts.
But never where you get your favorite pancakes, because we won't be there.
Not
I don't
IHOP.
know. Depends where you get your favorite pancakes, because you might find me there.
Nice. All right, everybody.
Have a good one.
See ya.